Well, a pleasant Sunday evening to you. Welcome, everyone, to a live edition of Let's Talk Oconee. Tonight, we're going to go deep into the black. We're going to find out about bacon and, well, did the devil make us do it? And now I want to welcome in my broadcast partners to the Jeff Bright Media Mafia mogul, Kathy Littleton, and one of those damn lake people, Yerba, a.k.a. the delusional old man, better known as Frog. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And I'm dumb, right? Hey, just want to let you know, these people are
I'm Randy
so.
Bond.
Are you really
The real one?
You're the sexy wannabe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm here heavily medicated. I'm excited. We've got a great show for you. Hey, who's running the Republican Party now, Randy?
It's Jim Mann. I tell you what, he's doing a great job too.
I thought I'd have to, talk about that. Hey, I don't know. Do we have anything to talk about tonight?
I tell you what,
Maybe we can make something up.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be.
I've been so excited.
You just can't hide it. Why are you so excited, Chris?
Because we have so much to talk about, and I just introduced a new line for my summer collection for my design, and I just can't wait.
What's your hat say?
It says tin foil.
Oh man, I thought you had a naked pickleball hat you was going to show.
No, but that's one too. This is a new line of mine that I'm. It's called the Extremist line. It's a great gift for your favorite extremist or extremist freaky family member. And I'm offering a special deal for the new majority and their friends that I'd like to talk about if I could.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, yeah, it sounds better than a Publix ad. Go for it.
Well, it's embroidered, as you can see. It says tin foil. You can have it any color you would like, and you could even change the color of the tin foil. I mean, you can have a blue or red. I prefer the actual color of tin foil. Now, what I'm doing, because it's a special for my new friends, majority on council, I am offering a BOGO. So these
a BOGO. What's a BOGO?
What's a BOGO?
These hats.
Buy one, get one free, right?
What now?
It's buy one, get one free, right?
Same price?
Buy one, get one free. These hats are normally, well, they're very expensive, but because these guys got a lot of money, these guys are normally $500 a piece. Now, well, you know what? Hey, it's a new design. It's just the way it is. So I'm offering these two for $500 plus shipping and handling. And I even have a special, wait for it, a special coupon that I will give these people. Now, here's a coupon. I want everybody to write this down. Okay, I'll make sure we can read it. It's my competitor, My Pillow Guy. It's called the Tin Foil Special, and you buy one, get one free using the promo code Perry 2023. Okay. Now wait a minute. Everybody stand by. I have set up a special extremist hotline to call. It's called the Extremist Hotline. I have operators standing by. Now I can't do it very well. What is that phone number?
Right, let me do it since I'm the media mogul mafia. Call now 1-888-EAT-SHIT. That's 1-888-EAT-SHIT.
I didn't realize that. That just so happened. So anyway, that's for all my favorite extremists. $500 plus shipping and handling, and you will get two of my new line of the Extremist line. Hey, we all like to make a buck. I'm the same way. So there you go, folks.
Well, you're going to need to make that money to pay that new taxes that's coming.
Hey, we're going to save $1 million, $1.4 million. What you talking about?
Save today, you'll spend tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to save $1.4 million. We've already cut that right off the budget.
Wow.
Oh, man. I know.
Oh, so are you ready to get into that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We haven't had a show since
it's been 2 weeks
since the councilman cascaded down from Mount Moriah with his tablets and became the new chairman.
And I even celebration. I've even got a new shirt.
Where'd you? What's that on there? What does that say? Vote for who?
Vote for Pedro. It was in honor of the recent election in the OCRP.
Uh-huh.
This is a new design, and it's called the Penelope Special.
Well, what is this? What's the shirt say? It says the Tree of Liberty. Oh my God!
There you go, folks.
It's got a hole in it.
And look, vote for Pedro. Look.
Is that a bullet hole? Is that where the tree bled?
It's a rip, okay? And it's all clean, but it gives you that used look, kind of stinky look.
You've been to the damn Goodwill again, haven't you?
Well, you know what? I will
that
admit,
Tree of Liberty shit was so last week, but oh man, that's hilarious.
I was able to find this. I won't tell you where I stole it from, but I found it. But I did have to use double lice remover. Now, once all the lice
was it in your girlfriend's Was it in your girlfriend's closet when you was over and you just got it?
Let me just say, it took me 3 days of tracking through the night, looking for the shirt. And the only thing, I had these night vision goggles on, and the only thing that helped.
That was you out there hollering
through the mountains. The harbor light.
That was you.
That was me. Finally,
he got his leg hung in a fence, and that's what I heard hollering.
And I had to be careful.
I thought it was Wildcat.
I almost rode over the extension cord that he was dragging around. We went so far. Once we got close to picking, I thought, holy shit, he's going to pull it out of the socket and I'll lose. So there you go, folks. Tin foil, special shirt, vote for Pedro. We are on. And I'm ready for tonight because I'm so excited. Hey, check it out. New beer, too. I am ready now. I am ready.
Hit us with that. Hit us with that commercial one more time. What was the phone number?
Yeah, we need the commercial one more time for folks. It's 1-888 bullshit. That's 1-888 bullshit. Operators are standing by.
1-888.
Call Extremist Hotline.
1-888 eat shit. Operators standing by.
Oh, what we got?
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Mike, what's up? Froggy, I'm about tired of you using my name. Keep it
You
up.
think I would buy this dump? I don't own shit. I'm renting.
Mike.
Don't read that. I got to make money. 1-888 eat shit. My operators are standing by, and I'm paying overtime.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, now can we get it to the hands of the business here?
All right. So last time we were on the air, it was just me and Jeff and Jennifer, and we were coming live from the Republican convention.
First time that had been done in the state.
4 hours of online. You could see it all.
Break backing labor, by the way, literally.
Well, and then there was some broke back things, back breaking. It was interesting, but Jim Mann took the day. Rachel Moore, congratulations on being the vice chairman. Mm-hmm. And Terry Myring is the new EC. Mm-hmm. Squeaked it by, just barely squeaked it by.
I mean, we're talking so small. About that small right there.
About that deep. Yeah, in the black.
It was deep in the black.
But, triple digit wins for all three of them. 241 people showed up to the convention to vote. And they picked the right folks. There's no doubt about it.
But there is one thing, sitting there for 4 hours doing this broadcast, that I actually could see, the people, and got a better feel of a lot of things. And there's still some things that I still have some questions about. But for the most part, I thought the convention ran well.
Well, it did. They put time, they put effort. A lot of planning went into that. They had, ample law enforcement. They had a good layout, a great place to have it. They had a great script to follow. They knew what they were doing. They weren't caught off guard.
Nope.
No, not at all. I like the closing prayer too.
Yeah. Well, of course, I think that caught him off guard.
Well, I tell you what, it's a good thing that the Republicans were practicing praying, because on the very next Tuesday night, They went to the. It was like John Haga came to town and had a sermon there at the council meeting. What do y'all think about that?
I'm gonna let Chris and Kathy go, and then I'm gonna come and I'll tell you what I think.
Okay, so repeat it. I missed that because my headphones aren't working. So go ahead, Randy. What am I gonna?
The church service that took off at the council meeting last Tuesday night. What do y'all think about that?
Oh, well, Kathy, you go first.
No, you be my guest. Go right ahead.
Oh, I thought it was kind of freaky and a little bit dramatic. Well, actually, it was very, very dramatic, and it was very, very crazy. But other than that, I guess it was about normal for what we're going to see for the next X until we get rid of these guys. And that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, I'll get smashed for this, and no telling what I'll be called. It's inappropriate for a government meeting. Yeah, it was exploitive of his family, I think, and totally inappropriate for the setting. So I think we've wasted enough time on him for as far as the county goes, and I that was just some more time wasted. I mean, you know, it's a setting for a county business, and I just thought, like Chris said, it was pretty bizarre, really, really bizarre. And
So this guy comes in there and he talks for 8 minutes. And what did he say? He said he was sorry the seat was empty and that he did something that started it all. But he didn't apologize for any of that.
No.
no,
He
he
didn't say
didn't.
anything about domestic violence, talking against it. He just talked about the devil chasing him from room to room.
Well, what about, obviously his family suffered, but what about the other family that was on the other end of the text messages? Whatever happened to them? Is there any empathy or remorse for them?
I haven't heard anything about him. Not one word.
Because he sure did.
apologies at all.
Yeah, he sure did. He sure didn't seem to be remorseful at all for that.
And none of his friends were. All they cared about was him. Nothing about the situation whatsoever or the impact on the community. So basically, we're just getting fed a line again. That's all.
Well, I'll tell you how I feel. Number one, if you sin, you sin. That's what, if you're a Christian, you believe in forgiveness. But I will say this, it's not for me to judge what's in his heart because I don't know. I have no clue. But it's up to him and the good Lord upstairs. I don't have a say in that. But I would hope that whatever he has said, and he has hopefully would take some responsibility that he created this. He created the whole mess. Now, if he was being abused himself, then he didn't take the proper procedures to protect himself either. So in a win-win, this is a no-win situation for anybody's family that goes through this. The only thing that I'm more concerned about is the two children, because being a victim of domestic violence growing up, that's the only thing I worry about is the children. I could care less about the mother. I could care less about the father. I'm more concerned about the kids themselves, and hopefully that they never have to live through this or see this ever again. But, hey, we got what we got. It's 2 years now. And if we're going to run it off the cliff, I say let's run it off the cliff completely. I mean, that's where we're heading.
Can I say one thing, Jeff?
Yeah, sure.
Well, when we're talking about this epistle that he gave about being a Christian, all this crap. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you, I'm a Christian, and there's one thing. I don't believe a word he said. I think he did it for political purposes only, and he was pandering to a particular base for politics. That was it. Because based on everything that we've seen over the last year or so and the way these people act and the way they talk, I don't believe jack. I think they wear it on the sleeve only for political gain. And, And they're the ones that have to answer to God in the end, because my contract's with God, period. And that's very private for me. But these guys put it on their sleeve, and they like to use it for politics. They like to use it to judge people. But all I ever hear coming out of their mouths is something that incites hate or violence against people.
Chris, I got where I don't even really care. Every time that I see certain people post stuff, I'm just sitting here thinking, irrelevant. Because there's a total of 79,000 people in Oconee County. Now those 79,000, 50 plus thousand vote. If you can get 50,000 to vote, you're doing damn good. It boils down to this. There was only 18 people up there that were hooping and hollering, "Hey, Matt's back. Yay, he's back." That doesn't represent to me a majority of Oconee County. Only 18 people. And these 18 people have been creating hell and havoc for over 2+ friggin' years. And then you dwindle it down to 5 people. I don't care anymore. I really don't care about the post that they do. I don't care what they do, what they say. All they keep doing is trying to stir the crap pot. And I just don't care anymore. And there's a lot of people that feel exactly like me, that they don't care. They're tired of hearing of it. And these are the people that should be getting involved in politics that don't want to get involved in politics because of the same thing over and over again. We're hearing it over and over and over. And what's so interesting, and I shared this with so many people this week, is that news story that I shared with you. We're not the only county that's facing this problem right now. In Michigan, there is a county called Coweta County, Michigan.
Yeah,
that they are facing the exact same thing that we're facing here in Oconee. And it boiled right down to COVID-19. Everything started shifting over those damn masks. I'm so tired of hearing it. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But the two counties are identical. Hell, Riley Morningstar wouldn't even need to write a story. All he's got to do is go pull the Dateline for AP, and there it is. It's identical. You have this small group that comes in, that they're the Messiah and the Savior, and they're going to save you. And they're going to do all that they can do to try to manipulate and all sorts of abuse and talk about people and just screw things up. And all they're going to do at the end is destroy everything. So I've come with the thing that I don't really care anymore. But I'm going to take care of my family the best I can. I'm going to pay my taxes, and I'm going to sit in my chair, with my back killing me. And I'm going to watch Oconee go off the damn Wigginton Overlook. Because, my friends, I tried to tell you for over a year what was happening. I've called everything step by step that was going to happen. And it's happening right before my eyes. And we're getting closer and closer to the inevitable. You got 3 people now that's going to get a hold of a budget. And their big thing is we've got to cut the budget. We got to cut the budget. Well, we cut $1.4 million. Whoopie-doo friggin' crap. And then you have all of these things. Oh, we're not going to have any more walking trails. Or do they not realize that tourism pays so much money in Oconee County in taxes?
But
do they not even have a clue about tourism?
All right, slow down, Hot Rod. Slow down. There's 4 of us need to talk.
Yeah, so we're all lining up to comment.
So here's the thing. That I was talking to a guy today, but it was a couple days ago. We were talking about that Greenway and that whole uproar of things that they came down there and done. And he told me, he said, he was in there springtime into the farm store, and he was looking at buying seeds and stuff. And he said he talked to that lady, and she was really disheartened by the amount of business that she had lost over that whole thing, that people didn't shop there anymore. And could you blame them? I mean, that was she just bought in with the wrong crowd, and they've cost her a lot of business
in 1 year.
In 1 year.
Are we talking about the seed store in the Walhalla?
Yeah.
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 And I mean, I used to shop there. I used to spend $500 or $600 a month in there, and I don't go back.
Nope.
Yep.
I mean, we're not delusional. None of us on this radio show is delusional at all, because we have been preaching it since August. I've been preaching it for at least the last 5 years. And, at one point it did get better. And now you got the likes of Wayne McCall back in the whole picture here. It just behooves me that all of this is going on.
So back up to that story we're talking about from that article that you sent out from Michigan. The silver lining to that article, if you read it all the way to the end, some of those council members are turning on each other, and a couple of them are starting to do the right thing. And I think the longer this goes on, we'll get to elect members back to our council that can turn and do the right thing. I don't think that the members we got now are turnable. I know you said that Don Mize was his own man, but that was a joke.
No,
an absolute joke.
Well, I tell you what, it sure looks like it, don't it? It's a joke.
Well,
look, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm just being honest. And only history will prove if we're sitting here correct. History will be the one that dictates to tell us that we're correct in this whole thing.
Well,
but I'll tell you what, we've been pretty right for the most part. I mean, we've been right. And when we come in here, we come in here and do this show because we care about Oconee. We care about our people. We care about our fellow human beings when we do this show, regardless of what we agree with on the national side. We agree with the local stuff.
Well,
and in that point, we've tried to explain, folks, you're going to have to stand up at some point for your own self. When you've had enough and you take enough, you will stand up. You will march up there. You will be involved. You will get behind the county council chambers. And when you see stuff that doesn't make sense, you need to voice your opinion. Right now, everybody's afraid to. You know why they're afraid? Because of Purry.
Who?
Purry.
Who?
Purry. The frog.
I don't even know who that is.
I mean, seriously. I mean.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
I know who you're talking about. I've been thinking that guy was going to come see me, but he hadn't. So I forgot.
They're supposed to sit behind. They're the keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
That's a great name to put. All of them are keyboard warriors. That's what they are.
Right. Oh, yeah. So.
Well, right now they're controlling the government. They've infiltrated the government.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But let's talk about that control. Further into the council meeting, the famous Wayne McCall stood up and pointed his finger around. Y'all saw the picture in the paper.
Now, you do know this is the same councilman that stood up or said that I'm one mean son of a bitch. You realize that, right? And before county council, I'm one mean son of a bitch, and I speak Gullah.
When he talking about people going in the swamp or something?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But then he was talking about, before he got into the tree cutting thing over on the lake again. But I got a sawmill. We're good. We're ready. He talked about the Honduran mafia.
Yeah. Explain that.
Or a special interest group was out to get him if he spoke Spanish poorly or at all. All I know is it's turkey season. If you're gonna gobble like that, you better stay inside.
Oh my God, no! I quit.
Oh, you better be careful. That's a threat.
Yeah, let's talk facts for real.
Yeah,
let's talk facts for real. He talked about and let's talk about this because he talked about raising officer pay to $65,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Solicitors and public defenders do not make $65,000 a year start pay, or they didn't in 2017. And these folks have a Juris Doctorate, which means that they go to school 7 or 8 years to start out. And officers deserve a living wage. They do a hard job. I appreciate them. They deserve to get paid. Do not misunderstand what I'm saying. But if you go to school 7 or 8 years in order to defend the cases that the officers bring to you, you deserve a good wage as well. And you don't deserve to be paid less than an officer who only goes to school for 12 weeks and only has, in some cases, a high school diploma and a GED. If you go to school for 8 years, you deserve to make, your wage, it needs to be higher than the police officer. I'm sorry. If you're going to do court cases and study and all that kind of stuff, because their caseload is unreal. And you have to have them there in order to keep the court moving. I mean, they're necessary. They are so necessary to the process. So what he was saying to me, looking at it from my side, is nonsensical. You know, when the solicitor himself, you know, I just, you have to look at the big picture. You can't just throw a number like that out there. I don't know anybody that starts off like that. Furthermore, when you got people there that have been there 15 years and probably aren't up to that yet, you can't just throw that number out there. I don't know where that came from, and it's a nice thought, but it's not reasonable. Moving on from that, he was talking about somebody getting shot in the neck, and I looked it up, y'all. We've had 2 officer deaths since 1928, and neither one of them was a shooting death. So where did that come from? That's just misinformation.
That's Kathy, you're right.
It's just, oh, and there was a canine death. There was a canine
We had a
officer that
canine
died.
death. We had a deputy that was killed in the line of duty by a motor vehicle accident in the early 2000s.
2010.
Okay.
Yeah, and then 1928, an officer was killed in a physical assault.
That's right.
That's it.
That's it.
There's never
Yeah.
been a shooting. He was talking about somebody being shot in the neck.
Well, it was down in the swamp.
That wasn't here. It certainly wasn't here.
Did he make reference to it actually being here?
No, he was just talking about.
But it was down there where they take the money and they put it in the mason jars and they put the lids on tight and they bury it all around the yard and they dig it up at night.
I want to go to Chris real quick because we've got some comments coming in. Chris, go ahead. You're next.
Okay, so I'm going to be quick. So I want to go back to this Michigan County. So when you're talking about that, Jeff, that's 300,000 people, and these extremists have taken over. Let me give you an example. There is a health commissioner that's been there for like 15 years or whatever. Okay, following all the laws of the state of Michigan, working on things like when COVID came, trying to protect citizens. Okay, so what this extremist group did is, and it's now in court, they removed this woman to choose a guy who was an HVAC technician for an air conditioning company.
Mm-hmm.
No health experience whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he was as wacky as they were. Okay, now I'm going to give you one quote because right now we got a majority. Durham said last year in front of the council, this is a guy controlling a $67 million budget. We got 80,000 residents here that are paying taxes, just trying to get shit done. The socialists, the communists, and the globalists, they know that to be successful in taking this country, they have to strip us of our private property rights. That is about the craziest thing I've ever heard of. Now let's move forward into the Planning Commission. They fired Pat Williams. Now they got this Brit guy, whatever his last name is. I forget his name.
Brett Adams.
Okay. And then you got Mickey Haney. Now they're all joined up with Nix. So what you have now is a group whose sole purpose is to not do proper planning in this county. And here's the thing that Durham's not talking about, and none of these guys will ever mention. We had this guy that controls sewer in the county, and very quietly at the end of this council speech he was given, he mentioned that we had $50 million of maintenance issues in our current effort, just in sewer. Now, you hear 50 million, I can guarantee it's probably close to 100 million. So we're cutting the budget and they're not focusing on this stuff where we already know we have issues, what may cause an implosion. And when an implosion happens, you are looking at emergency fixes that usually cost at least twice as much as normal maintenance does. Every bit of that, just like Greenville, is going to fall into the hands of property owners like you and I, and we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And not one of these guys on the council of majority has the maturity as a leader to really make hard decisions, big decisions. And you're going to see the lake overlay removed, and you're going to see this sanctuary for the unborn come back around. That's simply going to insult all the women here that want their own decisions. So when people get fed up with that crap, they'll finally do something. the good people of Oconee. The rest of the time, they're going to be listening to this whack talking about meet me here, say it to my face. But he went silent last night. I told him I'll be happy to make a direct threat on a post. I'll get up out of my chair. I'll go down to the sheriff's office. I'll file, and then I will meet you face to face when I'm doing the interview, and I'll even give you $50 for your commissary fund. That's what I have. Thank you.
Let me add on to Chris's comment. That's a big fear that I think is going to happen. So council now is reverted to a 3-2 vote, or we really don't even know. I'm just going to say 3 right now. We know that 3 is going to go in the same direction. And just the way that it looks, if I went to Las Vegas and gambled on this, which I won't, I would bet that the lake overlay is about to be revolted back. I don't think you're going to see that lake overlay. And I think that's going to be the tipping point of Oconee County going to what's going to happen. When that thing rolls back, I think you're going to see an uprising from the lake people. And I think they have every right to. The lake overlays worked well. You know, the zoning that we have in this county, citizen initiating zoning, it does work. Because I'm okay with, you know, if you want to zone your property, that's up to you. But the way that it looks, if we roll back certain things, I said this many times, they want to take us back to the 1960s. And sometimes I don't even think we've gotten out of the 1960s, the way that things run around here. I think that's where we're heading. I think we're about to see all hell break loose in Oconee.
But don't you think that it would be nice to have a Wolf Creek Lodge over there on the lake?
I think it would be nice to have a poker palace, Cherokee Harris at at Kiwi Key.
But listen,
I mean, I want to do riverboat casinos up and down the Kiwi River Valley.
But
think about the taxes off that.
But when you're out there on the lake and you're doing your recreation, and don't you want to start seeing high-rise apartment condo complex?
Oh, absolutely, all the
hotels?
time, absolutely.
I mean, that's exactly
I know
what we need here. Because that would bring that's the industry that would bring in some paying jobs for our folks. I mean, everybody in this county has got a job cleaning somebody else's house. If you can't throw a stick without hitting somebody that wants to clean your house.
Honestly, we've tried that before. We had
they'd all have a job.
Well, that 12-story condos are not going to work in Oconee County. So that's been tried before already.
But we go back to the $65,000 a year for police officers. I think they probably deserve more. But what about the rest of the police department? Like Kathy was saying, you've got a guy that's been at the police department for 15 years. He's not making $65,000.
No.
But tomorrow you hire somebody and he's making $65,000. Are they going to automatically bump the scale so that you get paid 25% more? And is that 25% more commensurate enough to not make you disgruntled?
What about the teachers? What about first responders? What about EMS? Yes. What about the DSS, the social workers? What about all the other people, the firefighters?
But it all comes back to the budget.
How you gonna pay for it?
The budget.
We're cutting
when Amanda Brock was asked how much of the operating budget is salaries, she's already said it's like 60-some% of the whole county budget is in salaries. There's no money to do anything with.
In the county budgeting, the school district is the biggest budget. Okay. Well, county operations was 30-something, 30. Well, that includes that whole $67 million is also including in the school district.
Well, the school district's budget is $124 million. So that's separate from the 67 or 65 or 64 million. It sure is, Jeff.
No, it's not, Rainey.
So
the school district budget is also the county budget because the county gives the school district the money.
Right, but they're looking at a $124 million budget this year. If you follow that,
they can't. There's no way.
Well, you have to follow. You have to look at that.
Well, wait. While you're looking at it, can I make one comment, Randy, based on what you said?
No, because I'm not finished yet. Okay,
well, go ahead. Then let's move to your comment.
On the way over here, I stopped at Burger King, and there wasn't a car in the parking lot at Burger King. I didn't know if it was open or not. I went on up to the window. They took my order, and I asked the guy inside. I was like, I thought you guys was closed. You didn't have no cars in the parking lot. He's like, we don't make a living wage. We have to take public transportation just to get here. Nobody working there at that Burger King had a car in the parking lot. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, but why? What does it mean? Why are you bringing that up?
Because we want to pay $65,000 a year to one set of county employees, but we're not looking at the rest of the county employees in the same light.
$50 million
For
school district.
okay,
It's $50 million.
so I don't know where that other
No, it's
came from.
total local revenue sources, including government agencies and everything here, is $50 million. I knew it wasn't 124, but 50 sounds about right.
So,
Now in revenue, total revenue that was income stuff was 113 million.
and that's for the school board.
That's
right?
for the school board.
Right. And
Yeah.
so they were looking for, I guess what I read was they were looking for another 16 million.
Okay, now I can
So-
understand that. Yeah, I'm going
But
through
there-
the budget right
So
here.
so they got $50,000 from taxpayers in the county. The other 50 is coming from other places.
Like the state of
Right.
South Carolina funds a
So-
lot.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the operations budget of the county. It's two different pools of money. So if 60% of that money that we're using for operations is going toward salaries and not toward, where's the road improvements? Where's any of the other stuff? Where's that money coming from? We're just going to take $1.4 million away from that. We could use that to grade some roads, put down some asphalt, fill up some potholes.
Or plant some
But they're
trees and
just
some
going to say
potholes.
that they're just going to say that they took it away from the greenway so that people will be happy. They're not going to say that they took it away from roads. They're going to make it look like they're not funding a greenway, so everybody shouts and cheers. And then the next time they try to go to a park, a county park, and it's crap, then they're going to be mad.
Exactly.
But when are they going to start selling off the
Okay,
county
so
parks?
Randy, wait, okay, so Jeff, can I say something?
Hold on one second. They can't sell them off
Why?
because it's leased from Duke Power.
All of
South Cove and High Falls is under a lease granted by Duke Power for a 50-year lease. They just renewed it a couple of
them? Yeah,
years
but what
ago.
about Chaw Ram?
Chaw Ram is something totally different. They could get rid
It's
of Chaw
county
Ram.
park.
It's a county park, but South Cove and High Falls is a county park, but it's not. The property is not owned by Oconee. It's a lease from Crescent Resources.
But think about the salaries of the folks that are paid to go out there and run it.
Very minimum at 35,000. Seriously, to be a park attendant at South Cove, you can do the research. It's about 30 something thousand. I think they were paying the superintendents close to 41,000 a year, 42.
Yeah, but if they just folded those jobs and gave that money to the police department, the sheriff's office, and let the sheriffs go out there and police the parks, we don't really need attendants. We just have the deputies take out the trash.
The deputies aren't going to do that.
I know where you're going with
But
this.
they do that in Walhalla. They used to go up the cops
city
would go up to
the city cops
Stump
goes up
House
and they close Stump House.
They get
That's
the money,
right.
close. The fire department opens it in the morning.
Well, our state park rangers are they're Leos too.
Mhm.
They are law enforcement certified because they can carry a gun.
Yeah, I know that.
That's true.
I know
so
that.
just give the sheriff.
They told me they were going to arrest
Hey,
me one time.
but with more money should come more
More-
responsibility, right?
Okay, so
Yeah,
Jeff,
go ahead. I'll have to think about that.
okay, so I want to be really clear about this because people will say, they'll start their crap like, oh, don't you care about the police? Okay, no, I want to be very clear about this. We have a budget. Kathy made a point about the Greenway. It's not a matter of dumping the Greenway. The Greenway is going to be a revenue producer. Now, they don't like it, but that's really the truth. It's going to be, so you can kind of treat that as a one-off that can be discussed. What I'd like to know is, how in the hell are we coming up with $65,000? Why isn't it $150,000? It sounds good. We sure don't want to say 10,000. The problem is this. They don't know what a competitive wage is to keep these guys. Companies that know how to do it, they subscribe to a service that gets down to the city, the area, whatever, and they literally can get down to what is a competitive wage. That's where business decisions are made, okay? Every one of these things, what they're going to do, and what you see them doing is they're throwing red meat out there that doesn't mean jack, because the majority on council do not understand anything about budgeting, do not understand anything about business. I might be a Democrat, but I know what the hell I'm talking about because I was the one that got beat up for it and had to justify things. I was the one that, when we had a huge turnover, I was the one that had to get subscription to the service to figure out what was going on. And I found that people were blowing smoke at me. Well, I'm going to leave because I can make so-and-so. Several people I bumped up, a few people I said, well, geez, you ought to leave. And they never did. So they need to take this budget and they need to concentrate it on to make sense and build the budget around what's needed and make sure that it makes financial sense and is financially responsible, not what gets some these little people to come in to the council and clap hands when they throw this crap out to them. But behind the scenes, they're not doing anything other than running this county into the ground. Okay. Now, I want to address one thing, and Randy, I'm not criticizing them. I just don't understand. You talked about Burger King and stuff like that. At first, I was trying to figure out where you were talking from. These people are working for a private enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand what that has to do with the budget. I mean,
Well,
it just doesn't.
I'll tell you what it has to do with. At Burger King and McDonald's, they make $12 an hour. And that's not enough money to get a car to come to work. And if you take a look at the county's website, for a first-year firefighter, they make $11.61 an hour.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what it has to do with. It's about creating a living wage for our first responders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I understand what you're saying. I don't disagree. But the question is, if they're making $11 an hour or whatever, what is a competitive wage for a firefighter? We don't know.
Well, I got to tell you, they lay their lives on the line just as much or more than the police officers.
I'm not minimizing that, Randy.
So
that's the trouble you get into when you talk about salaries. People take it and they emotionally talk about, well, they do this. I'm not, these guys, everybody working in the county deserves a competitive wage, period. A legitimate competitive wage. The problem is they cherry pick groups, and that's what screws up the budget, and nobody knows what a competitive, fair wage is.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you, Chris. I think from 2009 to 2012, they had all kind of opportunity to create a budget that would bring the pay rate for the police department or the sheriff's office up to a competitive wage with everyone else. But the same guy that's standing there saying we ought to give them cops $65,000 a year was the same guy that wouldn't vote for a damn budget for the whole time he's on council.
And I agree with you. He probably got $65,000 from somebody at Hardee's eating a biscuit. That's $65,000. Okay, I think it should be $150,000, and I think I ought to be making more Social Security than I am. It's just not. These guys, the purpose. I agree with you. These guys do not know how to run a business. And you and I both know, Jeff knows, Kathy knows, we're going to be in trouble. There are cities, there are counties, there are municipalities that declare bankruptcy. It happens overnight with a big implosion or whatever. That can happen to us because that's how reckless these guys are going to come. But hey, I bet doesn't Glenn sell billboards?
I guess he does, yeah.
Yeah, when they put that sanctuary for the unborn up, we can all look at that as we're trying to figure out how to get out of bankruptcy because that's where the maturity level is.
So at the end of the day, they're going to use the CPI index to say that we have this many people and our budget should be this far behind inflation. But what they failed to do and what Mickey Haney failed to do in any of his proposals last time was to fix the inadequacies that have been overlooked. Where if it's $10 an hour starting pay for the recycle attendants, they can't keep people there. And if they have to shut those things down because they can't find nobody, all that trash goes on the side of the road.
No, we bring back the green boxes like we had years ago.
And it goes on the side of the road. It goes
on the side of the road, and we have dumps around the county, and it looks horrible.
Right. And nobody wants that. I mean, we don't want it to look like it did when they filmed Deliverance here.
You're right. So if you were in there, you'd be talking about those things. that are a part of the budgeting process that these guys don't even think, because they're too busy throwing shit on the wall for people to gobble up and say, that sounds good to me. That's what happens.
And it's like
barfing in a pail.
But you've got all kind of county offices over there at 415 Pine Street. But then they want to propose a $4 million upgrade to just part of that, not the whole thing.
I actually have
under
a problem.
the guise of
I have a
safe
problem.
voting.
I have a problem with that.
I do too.
I need to hear more information. If this council wants to make a good, bold statement about money, this is one area right here that I want to find out. Why do we need a $4 million renovation at Pine Street?
We don't.
The $4 million, you can build another Pine Street.
You could $4 million. You could build. Yeah, you could build an alternative tax. You could move the election office out somewhere else. County owns other buildings in Walhalla. I mean,
Yeah, they do.
they actually
Why
do.
don't the county just tear that one that's falling down beside the courthouse in Walhalla down and build a new one there?
You talking about the old courthouse?
I guess.
Well, that's
whatever
that's the
haunted
old
thing is there beside that church.
That courthouse was built in '55, and it's been Walhalla City's tried to get Kathy, a hotel in there and a boutique.
A hotel,
and
yeah.
It
has asbestos in it.
How about you just put some windows in it? That'd be a good start. You see them busted out windows all around it?
I know.
Yeah, the trees growing out the top of it. Yeah,
they've been trying to do something with that for at least 20 years. And I thought at one time that they actually did have a developer.
Nobody's going to buy it. They have to give it to somebody.
Unfortunately, they'll have to tear it down because it's eat up pretty bad.
But there's a lot to do with that money. That would be better.
I want to get back with what Chris is right as far as market analysis. And I know this, that Clemson University back in 2016, this conversation started about, they were calling it, market-based pay. And it's really hard in the government agencies versus the private sector. But there was started questioning, why was so many people leaving the public sector to go to the private sector? Well, this is one reason, because they can make more money. And right now there was 50 plus jobs in Oconee County on the website just as of last week that they can't fill because it's so the money it doesn't match to me what the market should make. Those recycling attendants, they work hard and they're paid almost next to nothing. It's actually almost below federal poverty level. Seriously. Yeah. It's below federal poverty. I think 24,500 now is the cap, is what they consider in the federal now. I believe that's to be the poverty level. So yeah, if you talk about bringing more raises, more money to these people, where is the money coming from? Where is the money coming from?
Not this budget.
Nope. If you cut tourism and you cut everything to the parks, recreation, tourism, you could legitimately fund more money, but then you're going to lose all that tourism revenue. I mean, I'm being honest. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Here it is, the 2023, and we're sitting here having this conversation because we have government leaders that cannot get their shit together.
Well, and like I said, they were talking about the cops, and I made my comments. I get slammed, but if you're going to have more officers, people want to take care of the crime that we do have, because we have a significant amount. Even though we're one of the safest places, I mean, it was in the news. We are one of the safest places in South Carolina. If we're going to keep it that way, and you want to support that, in order to complete the process of the court system and to keep the court system going, you have to have all the people, all the working parts. So you need the staff, you need the solicitors, you need the public defenders, you need the support staff in those offices, you need the people at the courthouse. If you don't have those and you're not going to pay those people, I mean, you can't just say we're going to pay this group this amount. And here again, love our officers. Yes, they need to be paid, but you got to look at the big picture. You got to pay everybody. When they're handing out raises, you can't just zero in and focus on one group. It's got to be across the board.
So Kathy,
that's my opinion.
You're right, but I want to make sure that we have one distinction here. because this is a piece that these guys will never understand. When you look at compensation, compensation includes benefits. There are going
Yes.
to be people, anybody that's smart about it, they're going to look at a job that may pay 8,000 more a year that doesn't offer medical, doesn't offer a 401, doesn't offer any type of any dental. I mean, those things all add up, and you'll find out. It used to be before I retired, it was like 37%. Well, hell, I don't know what it is now, but I guarantee it's over 30%. So if you're going to somewhere, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you 10,000 more. Come over here, and you show up, and it's like, what the hell? What do you mean? I'm paying 75% of my medical. I didn't pay anything before. Those things have to be factored in. So when people work in this budget are doing that, they're looking at this analysis that should be the responsibility of the sheriff to present it using the data. They need to be able to have the whole story. But okay, so where are we? Benefits and salary. Are we even competitive? If we're competitive, everybody's always going to complain about money. Everybody. I don't give a shit if they're making more. But the point is, if we can look them in the eye and say, we are compensating you fairly on benefits and salary for the marketplace, then that's what you do. If they leave, they leave.
All
And
right.
that's a
Well, there we go.
So I just was cruising around on the Oconee County HR page, and a building official in the planning office, building codes, they got a job here. It says salary range from $75,000 to $90,000 a year.
Required a degree?
Didn't. Let's see here. Probably. There's a lot of requirements there. Knowledge and skills. See, requires doing professional level work. Okay, that didn't really say. All right, but anyways, $75,000 for that a year for that job. Then we look at the paralegal for the solicitor's office, $35,181 a year. This one here, a diesel mechanic. Well, okay, no wait. This I think which one? This is the Chaw Ram Park Ranger 1.
That okay.
$31,000 a year
For a park ranger, 31,000.
Yep. A deputy 1, uncertified deputy salary, $40,000. Certified deputy, $41,500 starting pay now. A county a diesel mechanic, certified diesel mechanic, $37,000 a year.
Okay, so what?
A firefighter. Listen, a firefighter.
Yeah, but
starting pay for a firefighter in Oconee County, $29,206.
Okay, so what is the purpose of?
I got one more.
These salaries?
I got one more. Recycle attendant.
Here it is.
$24,243 a year.
Okay, so Randy, when you talked about the planning, I have no personal vested interest in anybody's job. I'm just trying to get some sanity into something that's a very emotional subject with a lot of data that can get you guys so fired up and crosswise. You look at this as a good example. Look how much a doctor makes. Okay, the doctor's not going into a drug den at 3 a.m, but there's a skill set there. When you look at the planning commission, there are choices out there. You look at deputies, you can choose to look at this and understand what you need. If you need a planning specialist, then you have to make a decision. Are you going to pay the competitive ways to get one? Because if you're not, because you're going to say, well, I'm going to give it over here, then you can't hire a planning specialist. Just say, shit, I don't want that person, because they make too much in the marketplace. Just like when you get down to the other level, recycling. Okay, what does a recycling person make typically in the marketplace within a 100-mile radius? We don't know. It could be 60 grand. It could be 10 grand. The point is, if you need the jobs, you need to understand the compensation, and that's how you make business decisions. You can't go based on emotions. That's how your budget gets all screwed up.
But that's where we're at now, is we've been politically budgeting in this county for lots of years. So instead of continuing to do it on this Back the Blue campaign, because you feel bad, because you said a lot of bad stuff about the blue while your buddy was being charged, and now you want to make it up to him by let's give him a great old big bunch of money where you got firefighters out there for $14.15 an hour, but every time we turn around, you want to cut from the fire budget.
Yeah, but there's no apologizing because whoever's not paying them at a competitive wage did a shit job in the county.
Oh,
Let's
absolutely.
just say it. Absolutely. So what's got to happen is that's not happening with this majority council. They don't know what the hell to do with this. They don't know they're going to sit there like McCall throwing $65,000. That doesn't mean squat. You can't apologize. What you have to do is analyze it, treat it like a business, and pay people fairly, and your budget to it, or you just don't have those people doing jobs. It's that easy.
Well,
it's hard to do, but it's that easy.
The biggest fear that I see going forward, we've got 2 years of so much uncertainty that we don't know which way we're going to be going. We don't know which way we head. We think we're heading off a cliff. And as the months go by and the days go by, wait till we have this conversation next month. And then when June comes, because then we're going to go start seeing how all this is going to unfold. My gut tells me that we're about to drive over a cliff, and it's going to be a huge hit at the bottom. And
I don't think that's a guess. I think that's a really easy putt.
It's going to happen. It's coming.
Yep.
So,
and you know what? You know what I did? I just found out last week. We have a detailed, comprehensive plan in this county divided by sectors with infrastructure issues, etc.
Yep.
That we pay for. Nobody uses it.
That's true. You're right. Chris, you're right.
We have it. So you have that. We already know damn well we're facing more than 50 million. They don't use it. You know why? Because they're listening to Durham about this crap about socialism. Hey, when everybody opens their pocketbook, just blame the socialists and Democrats. You still don't have shit because you're paying property taxes that you never had to. That's, Jeff, that will happen. You're absolutely right. When it hits like that, and it will, people are going to understand this crazy old man knew what the hell he was talking about.
Totally. By the way, I heard something about the devils in the phone booth. Is that right?
Well,
oh yeah. Everywhere this guy went, he picked up the phone in an extension, and that devil was calling 911.
Are we done?
Well, the devil's in the phone booth, dialing 911. Well, the church is on their knees, and they're loading up the spiritual gun. Well, the devil thought he had us, but the tables are turned, and now he's on the run. The devil's in the phone booth, dialing 911.
I could get used to playing this song every week we do the show for some reason.
Well,
oh God, I love listening to it in my truck.
I was so fired up. After that sermon last Tuesday night. I almost didn't go to church this morning.
Did you feel like you were saved? Did you feel good about your salvation?
I was like, my gosh.
Lord,
I do want to know. I want to know who that guy's preacher is, because I want to be a member of that church.
I think it's Ernest Bunby, ever who he is. I have no idea
I don't know
who
who
he
that
is.
guy is, but I loved him.
So
My new favorite fake.
I don't like the guy.
Who, you don't like Ernest?
No, because everybody thinks it's me.
Well, they're thinking it's me, and it's not me.
Everyone
thinks it's Rainey.
Every single one on Facebook is yours. You know that, right?
I know, but I don't have any. I just have my own.
What about fork over some dough to bring in more bus drivers?
Well, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I got a question though. We talk about county council. We haven't really talked about city councils. We know that Walhalla City Council completely screwed up. But we don't talk much about Westminster. And in the paper this week, poor Westminster decided to give themselves a bonus or a raise.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's a good idea to give them a raise. The more you pay people, the better job they're going to do, hopefully.
I am giving Westminster an A for effort. They are trying anything and everything to bring the town and bring business back into downtown. Brian Ramey, I know that a lot of people are all over him, but I really believe deep down him and the council are trying their doggonest to bring business back into Westminster, and I give him A for effort.
Well,
But-
and I thought the article, I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's bad. Then you click on the article and you read, it's not going to go in effect until after the next election. So it's not like they're necessarily giving themselves a raise. They may not be the council that gets that raise.
But
He
a
may not be the mayor that
600%
gets that.
raise?
And so they may, but they haven't given a raise in 20 years, was what it said, right? They
Right.
hadn't 20 years. So they're just coming up into this century. And so if people don't necessarily like it, number one, they can all raise all kinds of heck, because that's your right to do so. And you're the voters, and you did vote these people in. So they're kind of your responsibility. You own what you voted for. And then if you don't like it, you can kind of run, and that could be your raise. Right?
But just $12,000 a year for a mayor, that's nothing.
Yeah, it really isn't.
I mean,
a
he's
whole lot.
running the whole town.
Well, the county council
And-
only makes $8,000.
Yeah, but that's still a mere pittance compared to what the director of school board makes.
Oh, let's don't go there. I don't want to talk about that tonight. I
But
really
I'm
don't.
just saying. I mean, if you look at what Mr. Ramey's doing versus what Mr. Thorsland's doing, and one of them's getting $300,000 a year, and the other one wants to bump his predecessor up to
It's
12.
Westminster.
That's, they should have went for 14 or 20. I mean, what
For a mayor?
yeah. Why not? I mean, he's
Dan
out
Alexander
there.
don't make that in the city of Seneca.
Well, maybe he should. If we're going to be an up and coming progressive county like that, they are afraid we're going to be.
No.
We need to pay these folks.
Uniparty.
Yeah,
You make
uniparty,
sure that you
yeah.
say uniparty.
I'm going to
Because-
grow a unibrow.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out.
Unicorn.
Oh, yeah, Kathy.
Oh, Kathy, she got it right.
She's
Oh,
running
man.
for
Unicorn.
office.
But nah, really just
Sparkles
wanted,
and farts, my friend. Sparkle and fart.
yeah. But anyways, I wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Ramey over in Westminster because I think they did the right thing. I really do. I believe that giving themselves a little bit more money, well, one, like Kathy said, maybe it'll bring somebody out of the woodwork that says, you know what, they want that money.
Well, they're all worried about the people all over there worried about they've got a business that's going to open up over there. It's a vape shop. And now they're all, we don't need another vape shop. Well, vape shop pays taxes, my friends.
Well, the thing about the shops like that, and Chris will tell you, in the business world, a business doesn't come somewhere that they don't have customers. And there's customers for a vape shop in Westminster, or it'll go away. It'll just go out of business. I don't understand why a bar didn't do well over there, but over time things come and they go. But the vape shop will be there, or it won't be there.
Westminster is lacking right now. The problem that they have over there, there's not even a pharmacy because the Walgreens is completely shut
Yeah.
down.
They've got Moons.
But
And that's
how many? But okay, well, how many doctors' offices are in Westminster?
One,
One.
Dr. Campbell, Billy Campbell.
How many drugstores do you need?
I would think you would need Moons is it, but you do
But-
need a drugstore.
But the thing about it is Walgreens and CVS aren't no different than dollar stores. They're everywhere.
Not well. I
They-
disagree with
They
that.
climbed out. That drugstore market exploded. Eckert's and Rite Aid and Walgreens and CVS, them things were everywhere. And then the big one ate the little ones, and now you've got two, CVS and Walgreens. Well, CVS is going to eat it up.
Now, that's capitalism.
That's right. That's just what it is.
Which is the best thing in the world.
So we can't complain about it. I mean, it's not that far from Westminster to Seneca if you need to go to one of the 12 drugstores they have over in Seneca.
We don't have 12 drugstores.
Well, how many are there? How many are they? You got a Walgreens, you got a Seneca, you've got the one behind the Walgreens, you got the one down the road from the Walgreens, there was another one on the other side of town over by the QT, but it went out of business.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we've got one.
There's one in Ingles.
We've got two CVS's.
You got a Walgreens.
One Walgreens. That's three.
Walmart.
Walmart's four.
Ingles.
Is there one in
5.
Publix?
Publix has got a
Yeah.
pharmacy.
Yeah.
There's
Ingalls.
plenty of them.
But what about the town of Westminster? Why can't they have one?
They couldn't support it.
They can if the market supports it.
They weren't supporting their Walgreens.
Ingalls has one
Ingalls-
in Westminster.
No, they don't. I don't think unless it's
that-
recent.
I don't know about.
Well, now see, Ingalls also has a plan to build a new store. By the way, if y'all didn't know that.
Would that be in Westminster?
Yeah,
Well, that'd be
they-
It'd be
good.
there's-
good if they had one, but they
Yeah.
didn't used to have one in Westminster.
I don't think that store does have one, Kevin. I don't think there is one.
Who's Kevin?
Kevin Larkin.
Oh,
He checks in.
I thought he's talking to Kathy. I thought them drugs are good.
No,
That's why you're interested in Walgreens.
No, see, because they that particular that's a smaller Ingalls, and they didn't used to have.
well, it was a
pharmacy.
repurpose. It was actually repurposed. It used to be a Winn-Dixie store.
Yeah, it used to be the Dixie store.
Yeah, and they just went in and put shelves, and that was it because it still looks the same as it does when Winn-Dixie was here. Let's go ahead. We're going to start wrapping this thing up
Well, I got
because
one
the
more-
pain is starting to set
Right,
in.
I can
And
see
Yeah, we
that.
need a Piggly Wiggly.
We got one more thing to talk about though, and I really think it's important. Is the young Republicans over in Clemson?
Lord, why you want to bring that up?
Can I say this before you even get another word out? I don't really give a damn.
Well, a lot
It
of people
doesn't bother
do.
me.
A
It
lot
does
of
not
people
bother me.
do.
I could care less. I mean, my God, we had talent shows growing up that had guys dressed as girls in the
Yes.
talent show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
But you do
That's
care
right.
that they target those people. You care about that. You just like, guys, I don't give a crap. If they want to do it, they do it. But I don't like them when they target them and smear them.
Well, who are they targeting around here? I don't see no drags going into the schools reading books. I haven't. That's never happened here. I mean, that we've got more important things in the world, in the country, in the county to worry about than a drag show.
I agree.
I mean, seriously. Now,
I-
if they're purposely going in and they're purposely, oh, y'all need to come do this and you need to dress up. Now that's a problem. But I really don't care. It doesn't bother. I'm more worried about how are we going to function in society. I'm more worried about taxes. How are we going to pay our property taxes when the county budget's $265 million by 2024? That's what I'm worried about. Go ahead, Randy. I'm sorry.
But Randy's bringing up an issue, a local issue in this county that seems to be driving a lot of people towards it with hate. He's bringing up the issue. I have no doubt he agrees to say, I've read his post. He agrees too. But you look at it, it's like drawing moths to a flame. So go ahead, Randy.
No, you're absolutely right. These emotional issues are just they're just brought up for what reason?
Hate.
And why are we hating on each other?
Exactly.
Our neighbors are important to us. College is one of those places where you should go to express those things. Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many times that. Well, actually, I can tell. Let me tell you this: I made it all the way through today, and not one person tried to shove some LGBTQ agenda down my throat. Not one person. Didn't hear nothing about it. How often is there somebody in Seneca or Walhalla or Westminster with a sign dressed up like a woman saying, "Look at me"?
No, not at all. But you sure
No.
have Christian agendas around here. It's the same.
But then you know, we go to the rodeo and we see a rodeo clown down there, and he's the star of the show. What's the difference? It's just makeup. If you watch that Hunger Games movie, everybody in that thing got makeup all over them, and they're just weird looking people. But that's the future. That's the future of us elitists, I guess. But I know Jeff wants to go and he wants to close this out. And
Where is Ruin riding off into the sunset?
I don't know.
I was gonna put my wig on.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
Put
no.
your wig on. But anyways, there was a very good article in the paper this week about about James Brown.
Did you just see this post?
What did he say?
Who in the heck is this guy? Hold on. Who in the heck is he?
Wait.
Who is he?
I don't know, but he's my idol.
Ernest.
Who is this guy? Where did he come from?
Well, Ernest, if you're going to be me, it's not bovine. That's not bovine poo. They need to smell like horses. Horses in the bedroom. That's the Oconee County thing. Horses in the bedroom, Ernest, not cows. Okay, change that. So anyway, James Brown. They didn't have anybody dressed up. They didn't have anybody dressed up as James Brown as a woman, but they did have these cute little beekeepers up there. The K-5 STEM teacher, Courtney Sheriff, had a nice article in the paper about the bees that they had up there. And, you know, being a beekeeper and all, that's important to me. And I think James Brown's doing a really, really, really good job teaching those kids about agriculture, the environment, and our world. So I definitely wanted to mention a shout out to them and to Tony Adams. Tony. Stay relevant, my friend.
I'm going to give
Let me tell you,
I'm going to give him a 3 for
Kenny Rogers.
Tony, call.
Right. Thank you for correcting me, Rainey. Listen, I appreciate Tony Adams because if Tony doesn't do things or run his mouth, we don't get a lot of publicity anymore, you know, since this show is trash and we're a bunch of bums. So anything that Tony can do, particularly Jeff Bright's media mogul mafia, I appreciate it. I think it's a kind compliment to get from him. But if you look at the definition of irrelevant, his picture is right beside it. I mean, him and Perry and the whole list. I mean, it's just the dictionary is just loaded with pictures. But
they speak.
My God,
relevance. It's just
he looks like Kenny Rogers. Can you sing "Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town"?
Ruby,
don't take your love to town.
for God's sakes, turn around.
It wasn't me that started that old CC war, but I was proud to go my patriotic chore.
Oh my goodness!
All right, final thought, Kathy, start us.
Whoo-wee, I wasn't ready. Yeah, be kind, y'all. Hang on, hang in there. That's all I got for this week.
You could add
And
weeds
if
to
you
the
don't
trees.
want to go to a drag show, don't go to a drag show. Nobody's gonna make you, man. Nobody's gonna make you. Yeah, nobody's gonna make you go to a drag show.
All right, Kenny. Ruin.
Okay, I got 2 things. I'll make it quick. First thing is, one of the best times I had was when I went with a few people to a drag show in Charlotte. And what I found very interesting is one of the performers was a trauma surgeon. Okay, a lot of people probably don't understand what a trauma surgeon is. He was great. He just happened to be a trauma surgeon, but he just liked to dress up and have a good time. And I thought, wow. But, you know, those kind of people that have a problem with these guys sure as hell want them when their child or their loved one comes into a trauma center, or there isn't a trauma center available. Okay. The last thing, one thing I want to do is I want to give a shout out to Matthew Durham, because I think that guy has to be a very strong person if he can sit there with that bullshit he was talking about without laughing at the people that were clapping like he's saying, I worked this time. Wow, wow, wow. So there you go. That's all I have.
Matt Dillon is the Messiah.
So what can we expect on May 2nd? I mean, could you imagine with the theatrics of the April 17th meeting, what are we going to see on May the 2nd?
I have to be honest. If this is a storybook of some sort of soap opera, Days ain't got shit on this. We are the ultimate soap opera. And all I can think about is Days of Our Lives, a new dramatic serial based out of Oconee County. I mean, can we write a novel? We should be able to write a book.
Well, Kathy, didn't you read a book that was wrote about?
I did.
Hey, my wife, by the way, my wife read it. And
Wow.
she was giving me some, and I knew exactly what it's that kind of book. It was, it blowed me away that the names were changed to protect the innocent, but we knew exactly who it was. And a certain mill village was quoted in the book too. And I knew exactly what mill village it was because they mentioned it. It said Neary. So anyway, I mean, I'm blown away, but I did get a little bit of the book. It's interesting.
Well, so back to the final thought.
Yep.
What are we going to see May 2nd? And then what are we going to see after that? Is the county ready to just become stagnant? I think we're going to see tumbleweeds. Nothing's going to be happening. Businesses are going to close. People are going to leave. It's already starting to happen. I mean, we got one store owner up there in Walhalla that's make Walhalla great again because business. Every store in town was open, and now there's like 8 or 10 that are open right there. Well, closed on the main street. So what's happening on there?
I think we've got a lot of things happening, not only locally, but starting nationally. And I think the next 2 years is going to be pivotal in which way we go, particularly at local county levels, all across the state. We're not immune from it. I think we're going to see things happening that we don't understand. It's coming. And I think we're about to run off the cliff. Oh, don't forget. Yeah, Roger's right. Don't forget, though, Sewer South is the number one priority. That's going to make us millions and millions of dollars, y'all.
Well, at what cost?
Pickens County come in and buy Oconee, cheap, pennies on the dollar.
Oh,
I mean, if you think your taxes is bad now, go over to Pickens County, take a trip over across the bridge, and go pay property taxes in Pickens County. If you want to, if seriously, go. I urge anybody, if you think your property taxes are high now, go to Anderson, go to Greenville, go to Spartanburg, take you a ride to McCormick County, go to Abbeville County, some of the smaller counties. They're paying way more taxes than Oconee County citizens are.
And we need to make sure on this show that everybody knows who's to blame. Now, one last thing, Jeff. So, this is a nightmare for Perry. So this is really a judge's wig. So when he does get the balls to make his direct threat, he's going to come before the judge, somebody like me and I'm going to say, you're an evildoer. You deserve prison. Goodbye, evildoer. That is his nightmare.
Well, one last thing. While I was sitting here, I got an email from the Oconee County Republican Men's Group.
Yep. Oh, and the Freedom Caucus.
They're advertising their meeting April 27th, 2023. I think it starts at 7 over at the Lighthouse. It was 6 to 7. It starts at 6. Yep. Anyway, they were able to get something done that the OCC couldn't. It says here, I'm pleased to announce that the South Carolina House Freedom Caucus members will speak at next monthly meeting dinner to be held Thursday, April 27th at the Lighthouse, 6 p.m. social time and 6:30 meeting and dinner. Attending will be Adam Morgan, Rob Harris, Thomas Beach, April Cromer, and Jay Kilmartin. So, the OCC couldn't get them here, but Jose could. Way to go, Jose. Way to go, Jim.
All right. Is that it for everybody?
Yes.
Your tinted hair.
You deserve this, Chris. I mean, seriously, you do look like Kenny Rogers. Ruby, are you contemplating going out somewhere?
Shadow on the wall.
You can never go wrong when you play little Kenny Rogers on a radio show. You know that? All right, here we go. Ready? Old Matt. Don't take your rod to town. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us tonight on Let's Talk Oconee SC. We will see you next Sunday at 7 o'clock.
This was great.
And we will begin with that.
Real quick, though. Have the OCC text us.
No, but Richard did. You had your salary figures wrong at the beginning of the conversations till I sent the links from the county website. Loose figures were thrown out there. Come on, guys. If you want to sound 100% credible, please do your research ahead of the conversation. I agree with your calls, but quite frankly, the broadcast sounded choppy with incorrect wage information in the initial conversations. No, it wasn't.
Who said that?
Richard Belmore.
That was a bullshit post.
Richard,
You didn't listen to me talking about legit data.
Yeah, we were talking about legit. We went through it. We already had it, but he's right. I mean, it's just right for a conversation. So anyway, not gonna please everybody in the world.
No.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.
Oh,